Welcome to Witham Sounding Board, a podcast sharing powerful business tips, insights, and trends for those seeking to become a rock star in their industry.
Good day, and welcome to Witham's Lodging Insights and Innovations podcast. My name is Lena. I'm a partner here at Witham and practice leader of the firm's hospitality services team. Today I have with me Daniel Cohen-Dumani, who's a partner and practice leader of our Witham Digital Services Group. Today we'll be talking about process automation for the lodging industry. Thank you, Daniel, for joining us today and talking about this timely topic and providing your insights to the lodging industry.
Thank you, Lena, and hello everybody. Daniel Cohen-Dumani here. I'm a partner and in charge of our Witham Digital, and I'm really excited to be here, Lena. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Looking forward to it. So today we're going to talk about process automation, which seems to be a pretty hot topic these days. So, let's just start at the beginning. So what is process automation? And then also there's robotic process automation. So what are the differences between the two?
Yeah, that's a great topic, Lena. And yes, process automation is as hot as ever. And there's a couple of reasons for that. I think, coming out of 2 years of disruption with the pandemic, what business have learned of all industries, and specifically the hospitality, is whenever there's an opportunity to be more efficient and cut costs, they should jump on those opportunities when things are good, not necessarily when things are not as good. So process automation is one of those field of technology that can dramatically reduce cost and make any business more efficient. So when you think about process, what is a process? It's a set of activities that can be repeated, and activity that hopefully should be performed consistently, right? So that's what a process is. So automation is a set of technology that will take activities that are repeatable and automate them in a way that the human has less interaction with the system. And less interaction is the key, because there may still be interaction, but those will all become digital. A new field came out called robotic process automation, and that field is all about taking what was very difficult to do with process automation and use artificial intelligence or a robot or bot to mimic what the human does, right? So the difference is process automation is more a back-end thing, where robotic is essentially taking your job on the computer and mimicking what a human will do and repeating that flawlessly over and over.
So especially right now with the labor shortage issue that both our industry and certainly the lodging industry are experiencing, it sounds like this would be a great opportunity for people to take a look at where they might have some opportunities to automate these processes that are done over and over again.
Definitely, and certainly the technology has made a lot of headways, and COVID has taught us that, I brought those technology to life, right? Because now people had to use it. Before they didn't have a choice, but as things got hectic over the last 2.5 years, organizations realized they had to start doing something.
Right. So what are the trends in process automation and what's new? You mentioned the technology's come a long way.
So, there's definitely a couple trends. One is the advance of what we talked about, robotic process automation. That's definitely a trend, something that came up and became more prevalent over the last 2.5 years. The other trend is the advances in what we call low-code, no-code solution, right? Previously, the reason why many businesses haven't done process automation, automated their processes, is because they had to hire consultants and developers, right? It was really hard, right? Nowadays, there's technology called low-code or no-code, and no-code means you can create an automation. Lena, you could do it. I can do it. I'm not a developer anymore. Anyone could actually automate piece of a process, if not the entire process, without writing a line of code, without being a developer. And that's probably is the biggest trend in process automation. One is, look, everyone is doing it for the last 2.5 years. If they didn't have it before COVID, now they're considering it, they've automated some of their process. The next thing is the technology has matured and has brought it to the point where business users, often we call them citizen developers, right? Anyone can become a developer and take that on and make it, automate those business processes on their own.
I appreciate your confidence in me thinking that I could actually do that. Not sure that's true, but kind words nonetheless. So how can process automation help some of the key operations for a hotel or lodging company?
Yeah, that's a great question. And when you think about it, and again, I'm not a hospitality expert, but I understand that there's a lot of manual tasks inside the hospitality industry and the lodging industry, right? So, anything that is required to be processed by hand or manually has the potential and the opportunity to be automated. Think about real-time requests to your housekeeping or laundry or things like that, where you may have to call someone and pass it on. And if you can automate and bring the human out of the equation, notification of the relevant staff, right? Hey, someone is looking for this, and if you can immediately have this routed to the right person is a great use of the technology and a great opportunity. Anything around staffing, right? Employee scheduling, onboarding new employees, managing their task, who's going to be on the job and how and this, right? Some of those organizations have tools, and some have tools that are not great, right? Or they're not easy to use, they don't meet the need. But anything that allows to streamline the staffing, which is really one of the key challenges of the hospitality industry, to distribute that workload evenly can be used. At the end, anything you can think of that could cut your operational cost can and should be automated.
So you mentioned a few, but are there any more common labor-intensive processes that could be considered for automation?
Yes, definitely. So, anything that's relating to, one that I love is about onboarding a new employee, right? I think that when you think about the hospitality industry, there is a staffing shortage, right? Whatever you can do to bring staff on board as quickly as you can will be tremendously beneficial to your organization, right? So if you can reduce the time, if you can make it easy for people to work, and actually think about it, if you can make it easy to retain those folks that you fought so hard to hire, and use technology to keep them happy, is definitely something that could benefit your organization and your business.
And even in the financial piece as well,
things
like bank recs that
Bank
seem to be very simple.
Anything that's back end that a human is struggling to do and have to repeat it every month, right? Absolutely. Financial function is this, anything bank reconciliation, downloading of statements online, things people do over and over. It may do with sometimes make mistakes, right? If it's well put together, a robot will do it for you, and you can worry about more productive tasks. So financial, operational, time entries, if you're putting things in one system and have to repeat into the other system constantly, that's a great opportunity for automation.
Right, with high transactional volume.
Yes.
So the more you could automate, the less human time that would take. And reduce risk of errors, and obviously we all make mistakes, so that's great. So what software programs or software solutions are there that can sort of help with this process automation in conjunction with ERP systems or hotel property management systems?
There are a lot of technology, and like everything in technology nowadays, I think there's two kind of technology you should be looking at. The first one is the industry-specific tools. And they are process automation tools made specifically for the hospitality industry. And those specialized tools can be good, but they tend to not be that flexible. So you have to follow a process, but they usually can be deployed very, very quickly. On the flip side, there are more horizontal tools that can do anything and everything, right? One that we love and we use a lot is a tool by Microsoft called the Power Platform. And the Power Platform is a component of the Microsoft and Office 365 platform that allows to build automation to create small business application rapidly, to automate those hard to reach business process, to make them bots aware so that they can run in your behalf. And it's a great platform that's extremely easy to use. And this platform was built for non-developer, non-technical people to be able to actually achieve a high degree of automation and really bring all those systems together quickly.
There are some acronyms that have been thrown out. When I hear people talk about process automation inside their own companies, things like maybe RPA, or is that one of them?
Yes, lots of acronyms. We hear a lot of BPA, business process automation, IPA, intelligence or process automation, which sound more interesting, right? Use AI to do that. And then finally, robotic process automation, RPA, which is sort of the next frontier of process automation, where we're taking those hard to reach back-end process that traditionally only a developer can integrate, and we're moving them up front and saying, I'm going to teach my robot how to do this task, right? So for instance, I'm going to log into my bank website, I'm going to download my statement in Excel, export as a CSV, load it into that other software, and I do that every day, right? Well, guess what? This is a perfect candidate for RPA, for robotic process automation. You bring something that usually you need a developer. Trust me, the bank will never allow you to connect to their system. However, they let you connect and log into it as a user, and that's what RPA does. It mimics any one of us, and we can automate, those tasks. And, important to think about, my last thought about process automation is, you have to focus on things that will have a great return on investment, right? Because you're going to spend time and sometimes money to automate those processes. You have to do something and pick one that is repetitive, that is very risk, that has a lot of risk of errors, right? That you want to automate because you're going to get a great ROI and a great return on your investment.
I think that's a great point that, there may be 100 things, right? But you have to prioritize two. Cost benefit analysis and what's the ROI. Pick the low hanging fruit first. And absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your insights today, and especially with the acronyms, because they get used a lot. So hopefully our listeners have learned something, at least enough to have an intelligent conversation and kind of what the differences are, knowing which path maybe to take for which type of process automation. So thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure talking to you today. A fascinating topic.
Thank you.
If you have any questions about today's podcast, please reach out to us through www.witham.com/hospitality.